How's it going, everybody? This is Leo making another video. I'm gonna start trying to make at least 2 videos a week. I promise. I'm gonna try to do this. So today, I'm actually gonna do something different. I'm actually gonna go ahead and sit down and do a one-on-one with you guys, and just talk about any car-related subject that I may have in my mind or that's going on in the car culture community or whatever. But it will be about cars. So as a first topic, I think it would be great to talk about what's going on right now, what's the most relevant. And since I'm a Honda fanboy, you got it. Let's talk about the 2017 Honda Civic Type R. Now, there's a lot of people that hate this, and there's a lot of people that love it. But whether you love it or you hate it, you gotta admit, Honda did it right this time. Now, as I said, you may hate it, you may love it. As a Honda fanboy, of course I'm gonna love it. But I've been getting this, just constant people just constantly hating on the Type R, just hating on what it stands for, and just overall the car community. Many of you would know, really hate a lot on Hondas. That dude in blue actually made a video about it not so long ago on why the car culture hates so much Hondas, considering they're almost always the underdog. But that's not a subject for another video. Let's talk about the Type R. So, if you've been living under a rock, like if you don't know what's been happening with Honda, Honda recently released, for the first time ever in the United States market, in the US domestic market, the Type R badge. A Honda with a Type R badge. That has never been seen overseas. Of course, we had the Acura Integra Type R, but of course they had an Acura badge. It was not a Honda, and it was not the complete Type R experience because there was a few things that Honda didn't include on the Acura that we got over here, and that was late 90s to 2001, if I'm not mistaken. But the new Type R, the 2017 Type R, it's already landed in Puerto Rico. There's actually 4 Type Rs right now. There's a blue one, a white one, a red one, and a black one. I don't know how many of them there are in the US, but nonetheless, if you've been living under a rock, Honda actually broke the Nurburgring's front-wheel drive record, all-time record from a front-wheel drive car with this new Type R. It actually did. This was back in April the 3rd, 2017. I'm reading it right here. The Civic actually did 7 minutes and 43.8 seconds. Now, if you don't know much about Nurburgring times, that is an amazing lap time. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys cars that are under this time and over this time, just 4 or 5 cars over and under, so you have an overall idea how good the Civic did in the Nurburgring lap time. Alright, so right now I'm looking at the Nurburgring official top 100. I repeat, top 100 cars with best laps. The 2017 Honda Civic Type R actually stands number 65 out of 100 cars. Number 65 out of Honda. Now, that's with the 7 minutes 43 seconds that I told you, right? So under the Civic Type R is the Pagani Zonda C12. That's an 02 model Pagani. I mean, it's a Pagani. Like, many people are saying, oh, it's an old car, it's back from 02. Yeah, whatever, it's a Pagani, okay? Under the Pagani, number 67 on the list, is actually an Audi R8 V10 5.2 liter. And this is one from 09. So this car isn't that old, really, and it did a subpar lap time than the Civic Type R. Specifically, it did 7 minutes and 44 seconds flat. The Honda Civic did 7 minutes 43.8, so just 0.2 milliseconds faster, but it's faster than an Audi R8 V10, which is so much more expensive than the Type R. Also, Let me see some good mentions. Oh, look at this one. Number 68 under the Audi R8 is a Mercedes CLK 63 Black Series from '07, and this one did 7 minutes and 45 seconds. So again, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's just mind blowing. Number 71, Porsche 911 GT2 from 2000. Number 72, Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera from '07 did 7 minutes and 46 seconds. I mean, I could go all day. I mean, I'm talking about cars that did a worse time than the Civic Type R. In this list, there's also Porsche 911 Turbo, the Golf GTI. That's the 2016 version, so it's faster than the Golf. The Porsche 911 GT3 RS, BMW M3 GTS, Lamborghini Murcielago, BMW M3. Honda actually had previously. I'm looking at this one right now. Number 85 was actually the 2015 Honda Civic Type R that did a 750 lap time, and you know, even considering that, the BMW M4 from 2015 actually did a 7-minute 52 lap time. So the 2017, the new Honda Civic Type R is considerably faster around the Nurburgring than a BMW M4. Oh, and look at this one. The Ford GT, obviously the 2004 Ford GT, did a 7-minute 52-second lap time. A Honda Civic is faster than that. I mean, it just goes to show how good of a job Honda is doing right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and say a couple of cars that are a bit faster than the Type R. Starting with the one that's directly above it, that is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS from '03. It's just 0.8 milliseconds faster. Above that one is the Chevrolet Corvette, the CO6 back from '05. A couple spaces above that, I mean, a Lamborghini Murcielago Super Veloce. The Camaro ZL1. I mean, you know, the Honda Civic did a great lap time. That's my first argument with this car, and just to prove how great it actually is. Now to my second point. This is, of course, as I said, the first Type R we get over here, and this car is producing 306 crank horsepower from a 2-liter turbocharged VTEC engine, and it's also producing 295 pound-feet of torque. Now, I've recently watched Redline Reviews and Engineering Explained reviews on the Type R, the new Type R, and both of them emphasized on how the torque steer is non-existent on this Type R. Now, Engineering Explained obviously went scientific on how Honda did this. I won't go into that, but it's a 306 horsepower front-wheel drive car that does not have torque steer, none. They did mention it has a little bit of wheel hop, but that's to be expected, but no torque steer. So Honda is obviously revolutionizing how people look at front-wheel drive cars, and even Engineering Explained went as far as saying that he preferred it to his 2014 Subaru WRX STI. He said that the new Type R was actually more fun than his car, and he actually felt it's a bit quicker as well. So, you know, some people are not happy with Honda, the Honda fanboys, by saying that Honda reduced their displacement on the new lineup of Civics, which is true. The new Honda Civic SI is actually a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine without VTEC. That's right. It's the 10th generation Civic, and it does not have VTEC. You know, whatever. Honda knows what they're doing, I guess. Fortunately, the Type R actually does have VTEC, but it is to my understanding that it only has variable valve timing in the exhaust valves. It doesn't have intake VTEC. So, you know, even though it doesn't have dual VTEC or whatever in exhaust and intake, it's obviously a very powerful car and a very fast car. You know, I mean, people are always going to hate. This is just my opinion. I really love how the car looks. Many people are also criticizing the way it looks, saying that the hatch is not a pretty look for the Civic. I mean, it's not for everybody. I'll definitely give it that. It's very bold. It's a very bold design. But I think once people get used to seeing these cars on the streets, they're gonna begin to love them. Another thing to note is that this engine actually has a lower RPM red line than past Civics. This one actually, this one's red line is closer to the 7,000 RPM range, which is, you know, it's pretty low considering K24 Civics, I think, did 7,200, and my RSX personally, when it was brand new stock, whatever, it was 8,200. Right now it's 9,300, but obviously I have you know, built head and whatnot, so it's a bit of a low red line, but you get majority of the torque from 2,500 to 4,500 RPM according to Car and Driver and according to Engineering Explained and Redline Reviews. So I'd say it's a very capable car. And lastly, the last thing I want to talk about the Civic Type R, the brand new Civic Type R, is the pricing. Now, for those of you that actually live in the U.S., you won't be getting that, you know, hard of a deal, because you probably will be paying about around $40,000 for it. It's cheaper than the RS, I believe, and you know, I consider it to be a respectable price. Now, for us in Puerto Rico, we actually have to pay over 40% taxes on the cars that come from the U.S. over here to Puerto Rico, mainly because they have to come by boat, and it has to be an American boat, and we citizens have to pay extra for that. It's very unfair, but it's the reality. So believe it or not, the Honda Civic Type R will probably start in Puerto Rico at around $55,000. Now, before you go, whoa, what? This applies to every single car in Puerto Rico. I actually said this in a previous video of mine. A brand new Toyota GT86 or Toyota 86 or Subaru BRZ, a brand new one in Puerto Rico, is close to $33,000 to $34,000. That is $10,000 over what you guys would pay for it. This applies to Toyotas, to Nissans, Subarus, Honda, especially the high-end cars, like for example a GTR. It is to my understanding that GTRs over there start around 100 and something, like 110 maybe. A sticker price on a GTR, brand new GTR in Puerto Rico, is closer to the $150,000 mark. So you'll probably be seeing a lot more Honda Civic Type Rs over in the US than we will in Puerto Rico, considering you're paying top dollar $55,000 for a Honda Civic, because people say it's a Honda Civic. I mean, it's not just any Honda Civic in my opinion, and people instantly go to compare it with the STI. But you know, it's actually pretty hard for me to compare the two, because I've always loved STIs. But the truth is, Subaru has been lacking in the motor department, the engine department, because their engine has remained mostly the same for over 12 years. They barely touch the interiors on their cars. Yes, they've changed a lot of cosmetic looks outside. The brand new STI, in my opinion, is a beautiful car, but they just lost the flair. They just lost their way, I believe, with their interiors. I mean, up to almost since 2 years back, they fixed this issue a bit, but 2011 and 2012 STI's interiors look like 2004 Corollas. I mean, let's be honest. So when people instantly compare this, that STI is better because it's all-wheel drive, the Civic Type R is more than 200 pounds lighter than the Subaru STI, and it makes up for being front-wheel drive in many areas that Engineering Explained and Redline Reviews go over. So yeah, I mean, this is my opinion, guys. This is the first time I do a video like this, and I'm gonna go ahead and end it on this note. If I had the money, if you had the money, would you buy the Civic Type R? If I had the money, I'd assure you 115%, 110, 120, 130%, I would go buy it today if I had the money, of course. But I want to know what you guys think. Please, you know, let's make a discussion in the comments. Let me know what you think about the new Civic Type R. What you think about its looks, about its performance, about what Honda's is making, how Honda's doing right now. Let me know what you think about the Honda Civic Si that I'm not a big fan of. But you know, whatever you guys want to talk about, leave it in the comments. We can talk about whatever you guys want. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you liked this video's format, please let me know so I can keep making more videos like this where it's more intimate, one-on-one with you guys, talking about whatever you know, content, whatever subject you guys want to talk about. I'm very happy to take suggestions on whatever you guys might want to talk about or get my opinion on. So this is it for today's video, guys. Thanks a lot if you watched all the way through. Really means a lot to me. Make sure to subscribe again if you haven't already. Like the video, as I said, comment. Let's talk about the Civic Type R. I'll be happy to. And have a good day, have a good week. I'll see you guys in the next one.